Here we are again. OnePlus has a new flagship phone. As I always say, if you don't like the current OnePlus phone, wait 6 months because a new one is coming out. We're talking about the OnePlus 7T today, my thoughts and opinions after using it for about 30 days. This video is brought to you by Microsoft. My background before YouTube is in IT. I'm MSCP, MCP, A+, and Net Plus certified. And my Microsoft certifications landed me some of my dream jobs in IT. Whether you want to code at the speed of light or bulletproof your organization's security, or just take a few courses and get Microsoft certified as a cloud hero. This is Cloud Society, the one-stop learning platform that helps you boost your cloud skills with a range of free courses from cloud platform, app development, modern workplace, and more. These videos are bite-sized, easy to digest, packed full of skills to make you a Microsoft cloud hero. Did you know that security is the #1 spending budget for IT for many Fortune 100 companies? Get a piece of that slice. Hit the link down below and register today. For $600, there isn't a better phone out there. The OnePlus 7T gives you almost a complete package for less than other manufacturers, even undercutting their own phone, the OnePlus 7 Pro. The OnePlus 7T comes in one configuration, and that's 8 GB of fast UFS 3.0 RAM and 128 GB of storage. And there's no SD card or no way to get more storage. If 128 is not enough for you, well, you're out of luck. The front of the phone is a fantastic 6.55-inch, 90Hz AMOLED 1080p display. Say what you want about 1080p displays, it's not the latest and greatest as far as resolution, but the quality of this display in 90 Hz, I would take this over some 1440p screens. 90 Hz looks that good, and it's something I wish I could show you better in video. Although I can, do something in slow motion, you can see how it reacts to my finger. It does not justify or does not accentuate how it really looks in person. And besides the screen looking good, I think it has really nice colors. It's not over punchy. It looks actually realistic. And also it's very detailed while not being over sharp. Now there is a drawback to the screen a little bit here, in that the screen doesn't get as bright as other flagship phones. So comparing it directly to like a Samsung or an iPhone, you'll notice that in direct sunlight, it's not as bright as those phones. It doesn't affect me too often, but it is kind of frustrating having to find shade when you're trying to make out a number or something, or taking a picture and trying to find the details of the image and not just looking at a reflection of your angry face. Also on the front of the phone, you have a teardrop, and that houses the 16 megapixel camera, and I think that looks pretty good. On the back of the phone, there is a circular camera setup, and it holds 3 cameras with the flash at the bottom. It's pretty intimidating to look at, as it's a large part of the back of the phone, but I think it gives the phone some unique character. Now what does bother me, since it does stick out a little bit, it'll be the first thing that will slam into the ground if you drop it. It also prevents it from sitting flat on the table, as it always has some wobble. And the phone is Gorilla Glass 2, so it's pretty strong when it comes to cracks, but it may get scratched up a little bit. So if you want to prevent your phone from getting scratched, or you want to switch up the colors, my friends at dbrand can hook you up. Look, dbrand skins, they're no stranger to this channel, but they're one of my sponsors, and you put them on the back of your phone, you can switch the color up a little bit and also prevent it from getting scratches. And also, if the phone's slippery, this gives it a little bit more grip. The link's down below to dbrand your device. Now the edges of the phone also do curve back a little bit, and it's not a major curve like you're seeing with Samsung, but a slight curve that sort of sits nicely in your hand. So I'm not a fan of 100% curved screens, and not a fan of curved design, but this is subtle enough to be very comfortable. Also on the side of the phone, it has a ring toggle, which allows you to change from ring to silent to vibrate, and it also has a nice grip on it. So it just feels really good in the hand, and you always know you're touching it, especially like if your hand's in your pocket, you can reach in your pocket, know where it's at, make that adjustment without looking at your phone. So overall, the in-hand experience, it's top-notch like most OnePlus devices, but at the same time, I just wish the phone was smaller. I'm starting to enjoy a smaller phone these days, and I would love to have a smaller option of this phone. So let's talk about software. No surprise, this is running Oxygen OS. And if you're not familiar with the OnePlus brand, Oxygen OS is their take on Android, and it's a really good take on Android. It's very light, it's customizable, and it's wicked fast. They haven't made a lot of changes to it recently, and I think that's okay, but when you have a OnePlus device, you get a lot of software updates, and it fixes a lot of bugs and quirks and may add a couple settings. And you know, as I said before, you don't feel left behind when you have a OnePlus device because they're consistently updated, which is definitely nice to see. A lot of OnePlus's things are not game-changing, but they're enough granular controls where you can make the phone your own. You can really modify things that you want. I sort of wish that was stock Android because I think it does a better job than Google does with Android. So let's move over to cameras. You know, I really like OnePlus phones, but I think camera is where they can make the most ground up. So let's talk about the cameras and see where we're at. On paper, it has some amazing stats. It's a 48 megapixel sensor on the primary camera. There's also a 16 megapixel, 117 degree ultra wide, and you have a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, which is a 2x zoom. There's also that 16 megapixel camera on the front, but as Google has shown us, it doesn't matter what the megapixels are, baby. It's about how you use them, and we're talking about the software it uses. OnePlus shoots a bit cooler than the iPhone overall, but in daylight situations, this is where it starts to hold its own. I think the details as far as landscapes and the details as far as anything further out and maybe more abstract designs is where you really see the phone or the camera rather do a really great job. But I do find the ultra wide lens loses details sort of towards the sides, and it's a bit more noise sensitive, and you also don't have that dynamic range. Same could be said with any ultra wide lens, but it seems that this ultra wide lens seems to lose this detail faster than others. So if you're not in a well-lit situation, and I'm talking, bright daylight, then you will see a noisier shot than the other companies. Also, there's a portrait mode in there, but for me, it's not great. When you compare it to the Pixel and iPhone, it has a ways to go. Sure, it is passable for social media. If you're gonna modify the image, that's fine. I will say the video needs some work as it lacks some of the depth and smoothness of other phones. I found that it was a little bit wobbly when trying to stabilize, but I'm comparing it to more expensive phones. When you're talking about a $600 phone, there's nothing that comes close to this, and it's a little unfair to me to compare it to more expensive phones. So with that being said, the camera is great, big improvement, and I'm really happy with it. The battery on this phone is pretty good. I found myself getting all day battery. Maybe around 10:30 or 11 p.m. I had to plug it in. It's getting a little bit lower than I would like, but the true winner here is the warp charging. It's using 30T protocol, which is 30 watts of power. That's 0 to 70 in 30 minutes. So even without amazing battery life, charge it for a few seconds and go. If you disable the 90 Hz screen, which I don't recommend doing because 90 Hz is great, then you can get a full day and then some, but I'd rather have that screen and charge it for 10 minutes on my way home from work. So yes, at $600, some corners were cut. No wireless charging, no SD card, and a 1080p screen. But overall, this is a great phone and one that Android enthusiasts should consider when looking to buy a new phone. OnePlus has also shown consistently that they update their older phones, and they actually support their older phones still. So getting this phone, knowing that another one is right around the corner, about 5 months from now, that doesn't mean anything because you know your phone is still going to be supported. And for $600, this is the best phone in this price range, period. And when you compare it to the iPhone, well, you know what? I already compared it to the iPhone. That video pops up right here. Make sure you give that video a click to watch how I compare it to the iPhone 11. I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later.